Thank you, Ross. Good morning, everybody. Well, we're happy to be back home. First of all, been obviously on the road these couple weeks, and two tough, hard-fought wins, and now we get to come back here in the Valley, and a lot going on these next couple weeks. This week is a celebration for us of our seniors. Number one, we've got a great group of seniors that are kind of winding their career down here with their home schedule, and we'll take this week and really celebrate them individually, and then next week they just kind of come down the hill as a group for their last game. But military appreciation, and all Clemson people know how important that is to our university, and honestly, I don't think anybody does it better. I mean, it's just it's one of my favorite days of the year, every single year. All that goes into it, and just honoring our military, their service, and also the heritage that we have here at Clemson. So special time, with a lot to celebrate on that front. And then got a good Citadel team coming in here that's won 3 out of their last 4. They're playing with a lot of confidence. Got a lot of respect for Coach Drayton and Citadel, just their university, their program. I actually had a chance a couple years ago to go and speak to all the cadets. That's really one of the coolest things I've had a chance to do. Spoke to all their cadets out on the quad, or whatever they call it there, where they gather in the formation, and that was really cool. And I got a chance to go and tour all the facilities and spend some time with Coach Drayton and his staff. And in fact, they gave me a really nice ball, and I've got in my office, I've got a sword. I guess it's called a sword or saber, whatever you call it. I mean, it's legit too. So that's my weapon in my office. But they've done a nice job. I mean, they're changing their identity as far as, when you think about the Citadel, you think about, at least for me, all my years, you think about triple option football, and, it's different. They still have some option principles, but they're throwing the ball around. They got a lot of zone read and some RPO stuff and different things that they do within their offense, which is different from what we saw last time we played them. But man, they play hard, and I think the other thing is this is their last game. This is it for them. So when you look across their personnel on both sides, and they're too deep, they got a lot of graduates, got a lot of seniors, and so this isn't a game where hey, they got a game next week and they've got to be smart with some guys. This is a game where they got really nothing to lose. So you expect probably every trick in the book that you can think of. So, we've got to be ready. We've got to go and play with a lot of precision. And really the focus for us is, it's never really who we play. It's always about how we play. And that's really what we're focused on is just trying to put all 3 phases together, try to play our best football, down the stretch here in these last, 12, 13 days, whatever we got left, and see if we can have a great finish, because that's really what it's all about. We've had a really good year. But we want to finish with a great year, and we've got an opportunity to do that if we can finish the right way. So, guys are got a lot of wind in their sails, especially coming off a win like that. Really special moment, and excited to get back out there this weekend. And again, it's always a lot of fun to as we go through this week with all the stuff that happens as we celebrate our military heritage here. And we have a lot of military families on our team. A lot of our families have had time in the military, so we'll take a little time to honor that, as well as some opportunity to show appreciation for our seniors and this great group of guys. Man, it's a special group, and excited to see them finish well. With that, I'll take your questions.
Way back in the day when Coach Drayton was at Coastal, he brought Montrel here.
Yeah, his son. Yeah.
Do you remember that? And,
oh, yeah.
What do you remember about that day?
Yeah, just you get a lot of times you get staffs that'll come up, and I believe Coach Bennett was the coach at the time, and another that's a good Clemson man right there. But yeah, his son, was obviously a lot younger and has had some heart issues, and it was just, he brought him along. It was one of his things. We wanted to, really show him a good time and make it a special time for him. And Coach, when I was down there a couple of years ago, he reminded me of that time. So, he's a good man. He's a heck of a coach, and got a great family. He's a great father, and Montrel is I think he's a Clemson fan. So I probably can't be this weekend, but hopefully he will be after that.
David, do you think moving Peter inside sort of helped free up TJ and Jahiem and made the matchups better for them just by nature of how much attention Peter draws?
No, I don't think it had anything to do with how TJ played. I think TJ, he won his matchup regardless of who is playing inside. I mean, he played his best game of the year, and it was just awesome to see. I think the biggest thing is, again, with Capehart out, you're just trying to get your best people on the field, but the other thing is, as we've seen, I mean, this is game, we're 8-2, played 10 games, and you want to see guys develop, and we've seen that with our ends. We weren't there at the beginning of the season. We just weren't. And again, you want to put your best guys out there, and if you go back and you look at, the start of our season, they played pretty good up front early. And, obviously Peter's missed some time, and we've had some guys in and out of the lineup, but Peyton's been incredibly steady for us all year. But I just think the improvement of our ends, I mean, they've made the improvement. That's what you want to see. They're a lot of young sophomores. Hoffler didn't hardly have any experience. He's really improved. Jahiem had just a little as a redshirt freshman. Now as a redshirt sophomore. Now he's just gotten better. Those guys have really taken a step. Armand had never played, and now he's carved out a little bit of a role for us. And so and then Denhoff is, we knew he'd be a very steady guy for us, and he's been that. So we've just been able to build some more depth there to where we can, trust those guys to get the job done. And that's what frees up, Peter to be able to play what his natural position is. I mean, we recruited him to be a D tackle, but like I said, he can play anything. Just no different than Tristian. Tristian was a D tackle, and he plays D tackle, but he played a good bit of end too. So you're just always trying to get your best people on the field. But this past game, that's all T.J. Parker, 1,000%. Ain't got nothing to do with nobody but T.J. Parker, and his will, his effort, his preparation, his relentlessness, his technique. Coach Rump's done a great job with him and helping him come along. So it was an awesome performance, and again, he's still a young player, and he's still growing into what his potential is and what he can be. So good to see him have a moment like that and playing, again, his best football down the stretch here. And I'd say the same thing just for our defensive line as a whole. As awful as we were in the Louisville game, they've really, I mean, they've played well these past 2 weeks. And, it's good to see those guys step up.
What has it been from Jahiem's game specifically that has grown, that has allowed him to stay on the field and really grow this season?
Yeah, he's gone from just a third down player to where he can play first and second down. He understands the run fits. He understands, more about what's going on offensively. He's bigger, stronger, and he can hold up physically as opposed to where he was, certainly last year. But just his knowledge and his confidence, that's the main thing, and that comes with experience. And so he's been able to do that, and now he's become a guy that we can play every down. And I think Hoffler is right there. Jahiem's got a little more experience than Hoff. Hoffler's a true sophomore, but physically, he's a pretty special talent. But still gaining the knowledge and the experience to really trust him every down.
Citadel may not be all option, but they still are kind of methodical, kind of down the field offense. What do you see out of them, that quarterback?
Yeah, well, they do a lot of, they're a bunch of personnel. They're 10 personnel, 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 21 personnel, You know, they mix it up and use their people very well. But you know, it's all about the quarterback. I mean, he's still the leading rusher, and you know they got two really good backs, 27 and 42. I mean, they both really good players. It was a big win at Wofford last week, but you know the biggest thing is they just have more of a throwing game, you know, than what they've had in the past. We anticipate, especially we're bigger than them up front, so I would anticipate they probably will not block us at times. They'll probably read us. So, you know, and expect to maybe see a little bit more option principle against us than maybe they've shown in their season. They still have it, you know, but it's not just triple option, you know, like it once was. So, but I think in our game, their last game of the season, we'll probably see a little bit more just by nature of, you know, the matchup up front. But good receivers. I mean, they got good players. They spread the ball out. I mean, you know, Zero is kind of their guy as far as a guy that they're going to try to get the ball to in a lot of different ways. I mean, he's got 29 catches. 7's got 24 catches. 88's got 16. Number 5 is a big long kid that they try to stretch the ball down the field to. He's their shot guy. So, I mean, they're a balanced offense and really have committed to a different style of play. And you see that, you know, and I'm sure as they continue that trend, they'll keep recruiting the personnel that they want to do it. But I'm impressed with this quarterback. He's a good player. I mean, he's tough. He's smart. You can tell he understands their system and what they're asking him to do. And he's made some big throws. The receivers have made some big catches. And defensively, they get after you. I mean, they're a multiple. You know, they're more multiple than you expected them to be, you know, when you start watching the tape. But they do a really good job up front. They're in and out of even and odd fronts. They'll get up and challenge you at the line of scrimmage. You know, so this is a well-coached team. That's where they're supposed to be. And again, you can see their confidence, you know, as the latter part of the season. Again, winning 3 out of the last 4. I mean, beating Sanford is a really good win. Going to Wofford that's a rivalry game and a big win for them. So. They're playing with a lot of confidence, you know, down the stretch.
You talk about how there are not a lot of guys who have to leave after this year. How do you kind of put together a senior day list with all that eligibility and stuff, and how do you kind of go through this conversation with guys?
Yeah, we just, it's very simple. Like, you know, first of all, you know who definitely has to leave, so that makes it easy. And then basically anybody that's a 4th year, that if you know you're not coming back. Like obviously we have to cut a lot of guys this year. You know, we have, you know, a lot. It's terrible. It's the worst thing in my whole coaching career in what's going on. But you know, we've got to cut a bunch of kids that have been in our program. So I've given all of them an option. If they are, you know, a 4th year, then they have the option to be honored as a senior. You know, they've earned that. And some of these kids would be back for their 5th year next year, and they're not going to have the opportunity to do that. And that's sad, but that's the way it is. So we've given them an opportunity. Those kids that if you're graduating in December or May, you can be honored as a senior if you want to. And then you always have some guys that aren't sure. Like Christian Wilkins milked everything he could get out of this thing. I mean, he did 2 banquets. I mean, 2 senior banquets, 2 senior days, 2 run down the hill. You know, I mean, he got it all. So, you know, you have some guys who really don't know. You know, and it's senior day, and they're not really sure you're still playing your season. And, you know, we're going to have a postseason as well. And, you know, some of these guys don't know. But yet they don't want to miss a moment, you know, to be honored as a senior if they're not sure they're coming back, you know. I mean, and I'm not talking about the portal. I'm talking about going pro. You've got some guys that, you know, have to make a decision. They're maybe not sure. And so you deal with that from time to time. So you just give them the option, hey, you want to go ahead and do it, and you can decide later. And we've had several guys do that over the years. You know, Walker Parks is a perfect example. He's not doing senior day because he knows he's coming back. You know, so he's not going to do it. He knows. So you got some of those. So we'll see who runs down the hill. But yeah, it'll be a pretty big group, just because we got a lot of walk-on guys that you know that this is going to be their last opportunity, and they deserve it.
You kind of made it sound Sunday like, you know, we're going to throw what we can out there on the offensive line. Do you have any updates there? And then,
Yeah.
Would you consider?
Yeah, I think we got 9 guys out for practice today. So we're just trying to figure out how to practice today. So it's going to be interesting.
Both Ronan, I think, and Mason have 3 games. I mean, are they?
No, they have 1 game.
Well, yeah. I mean, they played 3.
Yeah. Oh,
so
played 3. Yeah.
So would you consider them or?
Well, we consider everything. Absolutely. Yep. Yep. We definitely consider that. You know, Ronan's been starting on us at field goal, and so he's a guy that we may have to use, and then we'll have to figure it out next week, and then. Mason is a guy that we'd like to hold if we can, with our situation, because I mean he could help us win the game, next week, and you don't want to waste a year, so but you got to do what you got to do to win the game you're playing. So I mean, we got what we got. We got to make it work. You're gonna see some, we got guys like Will Boggs. Y'all gonna be looking up in your media guide. Trying to figure out, you're going to see some guys maybe playing out of position, but we got to find a way. Got to do what we got to do to get it done. And hopefully, again, we got some guys trending in a good direction. But as we sit right now on Tuesday, we're trying to figure out how we're going to practice today.
And is that 9 OL that's out?
9 OL. Yeah. Yep. So and obviously we lost. Dietrich's been out for a while. Watson, we lost at the beginning of the year. Ian Reed, we lost at the beginning of the year. And, we've been pretty good. We've actually been pretty lucky. But we just kind of hit a little rough patch with the situation, obviously, with Tristian and Marcus. And then, boom, Elijah, worst case scenario happened. So, and Sadler. Sadler really probably has hurt us more than anything because Sadler can play everywhere. And he's such a good player. So, I mean, it's been a tough deal, but hey, we'll figure it out. That's what we got to do. We got no excuses. We got to find a way to make it work. So, Chat Pendergrass, we got some walk-on guys that are gonna have to come through for us, and then we got some guys that are gonna have to maybe play out of position, and trying to get everybody healthy. Stellato's out too. He's done for the year. He's torn his thumb and got to have surgery on it on Thursday, so he's going to be done. So tough break, there as well. But we're just one day at a time. We're day to day. So we're trying to figure out how we're going to practice today. If we can get through today, we'll see what tomorrow brings.
So with Troy, is Tyler closer? Tyler Brown?
Yeah, but he's not. He won't be back until after South Carolina game. He'll be ready for postseason.
Coach, going back to what Coach Drayton did and what you were able to do for his son, he said yesterday that nobody better say anything bad around him about Clemson. So he might be a Clemson fan along with his son, but what does it mean that you had such an impact on him that he's still bringing it up and still, has that loyalty and pride with the relationship with you?
I mean, he's a good man. I mean, he really is, and again, a great coach, great father. But I just admire him for who he is as a person, just how he's wired. He came back to coach at Citadel, and he's put his family first in everything that he's done. In particular, his son Montrel, and I just think that's all you need to know about him. And as far as all that other stuff, I mean, listen, I mean, I'm just thankful that we had an opportunity to make it a great day. Whenever that day was, it's a blessing that we were able to, help him smile, help him have a great experience, and for them to have that moment together. So just happy to be a part of that.
I know the military tradition is so rich here and you guys really value it, but the fact that it's not UConn, it's not Georgia Tech, but you're playing the Citadel on Military Appreciation Day, the added meaning of playing them on such a special day.
Yeah, that's pretty special, for sure. That is a university with an incredibly rich tradition and history. When I honestly, I didn't know a whole lot about Citadel until I spoke there a couple years ago, did a little research on them, and I mean, it is a very proud university with an incredible military background. And it's a tough place, man. It's a tough place. And I just have a lot of respect for those kids and their commitment, their accountability, the structure that they operate in there. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But I tell you, when I left there, I walked away with just an immense amount of respect for everyone there and how they do things, their mission as a university, and certainly those kids that are a part of that program and buy into what they have to do from a military aspect. So, yeah, it'll make it a even more special day, to have a university like Citadel here on this day. It's kind of unique, and I'm sure they'll have a great appreciation for it as well.
When did Troy's injury happen? Was that mid-game?
No, he's actually been battling it for a couple weeks. Y'all just hadn't know. We've been casting his thumb up, and he's just at a point where just doesn't think he can keep going and needs to get the surgery. So we're going to do it on Thursday, I believe. Just he's in a lot of pain, and he just doesn't feel like he can really. He's trying, but can't really play like he needs to play, and so he's tried hard, but got to get it fixed. We were hoping we could maybe make it to the end, and he's made it these last 2 games with it, but just another tough break.
How frustrating is that for you to see a player who's battled injuries all throughout his career and is playing his best ball here to have to deal with yet another setback?
Yeah, I mean, he's been a great player for us. I think he's played the 3rd most snaps of any of our receivers and has made some big plays. I mean, he's a very gritty, tough player. He loves football. He loves to play, and you hate it. You hate it because I watched him for 2+ years just sit. He couldn't play. But he's battled a lot of injuries, and he's always just kept getting up. And that's one thing you can say about Stellato. He's a tough kid, man, and he does love to play. So, I hate it for him, but it's just another part of his story, and got to move forward.
Is there an update here with the bottom Wade Woodaz where he's at?
He's getting better. It's kind of down. It's left his thigh, and now it's just down in his calf where everything's draining for him. I mean, it was a nasty bruise, contusion, and so he's better. He's getting a little better each day. So we were hoping it would loosen up to where he could be available on Saturday, and he just couldn't get there. And but he's much improved, and hopefully he'll keep heading in that direction.
Were Tristian or Marcus, either two of those guys, close to traveling last week, and kind of how are they those in the positive trending category?
Tristian was probably closer. Both of them are certainly questionable for this week, but both heading in a good direction. We'll see how it plays out.
Any questions for Coach virtually? Anybody else in the room?
Yeah, it was just real fast. He caused quite a stir on social media Saturday by using walkie-talkies on the sideline. People were like, is he ordering pizza? Those are the headset communicators, right?
I caused a stir on social media.
It did. It was just kind
Missed
of funny.
that.
And everybody said, please ask. Well, I'm asking. Those are the headset communicators.
Same thing we've had all year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know when it was, a game or 2 ago, I quit wearing it because it was driving me freaking crazy because I feel like I've got 25 tools on me, and so I just quit wearing it and handed it to Abe. So when I need it, I just get it from Abe, So no different. Same thing we've had all year. It's what we use in practice every day. You can either have the walkie-talkie hooked and push a button, or you can just use the walkie-talkie, and so that's really it.
You said on your Sunday teleconference you were talking about opportunity for certain receivers. Was that based on his coverage? What were you kind of elaborate on the frustration there?
I just didn't think we did a good enough job of giving some guys opportunities, versus some tight coverage. We needed to create a few more of those.
over the last 3 games, is there a common thread offensively for some of the droughts y'all have gone through?
Critical penalties, missed plays. You hit a couple of the plays that we've missed on. Y'all are probably asking me different questions, but we don't make them. So we've missed a few throws that are there. We've had couple drop balls. We've had some critical penalties, really critical penalties. Again, you go back to the Virginia Tech game. You're right out of the gate, opening drive. You got a great drive, and you get the grounding. You overcome that to the 15-yard line. It's going to be first down. You get a holding. So just some frustrating stuff there. Obviously, we had the kick issue where we had some of those problems. We missed some opportunities for points, and then just not having enough times where we've had some good drives. We hadn't finished them, so you got 9 guys out of 11. Too many times we've had 9 and 10 guys, but the main thing is just some misplays, some critical penalties, a little bit of some poor execution. And then and some bad calls too that we've made. Combination of all that, turnover. We came out of the gate the other night, had a really good drive going, and we fumbled the ball. Just that's really it. Play way out of it.
Sorry. I know you're frustrated with the targeting call on Saturday after the game. Just curious, when you went back and watched the tape, if you still felt that way and what your conversation was like.
I still feel exactly with what I said. I don't know what it is. I don't know what targeting is. Again, I go back. You just look at the Cal-Miami game. If that's not targeting, I don't know what targeting is. I see a lot of times I'm like, no way, that's targeting, and they call targeting. And then I see, well, that's definitely targeting, and they don't call targeting. So I don't know. Nothing changed. Again, I'm going to have to go to a seminar in the offseason because it's different. Week to week, league to league, ref to ref. It's different. Surely y'all can agree with that. It's just different. And I'm not talking about a specific play. I'm talking about just in general, I don't know what it is. I thought I did. But again, there's a bunch of times I'm watching games and I say, well, that is 100% targeting. Nope. And then other times, no way, that's targeting. And they leave it as targeting. So it's very subjective, in my opinion.
Kind of on that same note, you talked about the hands to the face call that got called late. Did you ever get an explanation on why that happened?
I got an explanation. Yeah, I got an explanation.
Did it help you understand it?
No, never been part of that. That's all I can say is that's just put it in the notes. First, that's a first. That is a first for me, for sure.
Coach, you always talk about the teaching and learning that takes place throughout the program. For these seniors, what do you hope they take away from senior day, but from the program into adulthood?
Oh man, just how to go be a great man, be a great citizen, how to be a difference maker in the world, to take all these lessons that come through this platform of football and all the things that they've been exposed to here at Clemson, leadership, be great leaders in their homes, be great leaders in, whatever it is that they're going to do next, whether it's a new locker room or going out to work. Certainly, being great husbands and fathers. That's what you want. And you want them to look back on their time here and cherish their relationships and cherish their memories, This has been a really consistent group on and off the field, their entire time. They've won a bunch of games. They've been great academically. We're set records academically, while these kids have been here. And, I'm just really proud of them. But you just want them to go and, again, just, go be difference makers. First-class men, world-class leaders. That's what we talk about all the time when they come out of this program.
Is Mickens practicing this week?
He's limited, but he's out there.
How's Capehart progressing?
Getting better. He's getting better. He's certainly not ready this week, but he's still day to day at this point. I'd take him from week to week to day.
Did Elijah Thurman have his surgery yet, or is it still?
He is having surgery tomorrow. He'll have surgery tomorrow. So, keep him in your prayers. And he's got a great attitude, great spirit, and, just hate it for him and for our team. But, it's part of it. But he'll be back better than ever.
What do you feel like Vic Burley needs to do to get back into the defensive line rotation?
Just got to get better. I mean, it's got to compete. Got to compete. You got to beat somebody out. And you just got a group in there, and he is getting better. He's competing, but he's just, got to take advantage of his opportunities when they come. And he's got to stay healthy. He's not been a very available guy for a lot of the year, and he wasn't available at all last year. So he's just got some ground to make up, and certainly got the ability.
Anybody else for Coach Swinney? All right.
All right, appreciate it.
Thank you.